Greetings, my saplings. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the Jordan 1 Blue Chill, also known as the patent leather UNC. Today specifically, we'll be discussing some release info, how to cop the sneakers, and some resale predictions for those of you who may be interested in reselling the sneaker. Kick it off with some release info. These sneakers do release on February 14th, which just so happens to be Valentine's Day, and this is perfect because it is a women's sneaker. The retail on these are $160, and since they do come in women's sizes, if you did want a personal pair, I would definitely recommend going 1.5 sizes up. Hypothetically, if you're a size 10, you want to go for a size 11.5. Now, some stores are carrying up to size 14. For example, Foot Locker is apparently going to be carrying the size 13 and 14. However, the majority of stores are only going up to size 12, unfortunately. Now, with this different sizing, of course, resale is going to differ as well in comparison to previous Jordan 1s. We'll discuss that at the end of the video, but for now, why don't we jump into how to cop these sneakers. First of all, to kick it off, right now you could actually get a head start on copying these by signing up for the reservations via the Foot apps. This would be Foot Locker, Foot Action, and Champs. Now, I always suggest following FTL Codes, also known as check-in codes, on Twitter. Essentially what they do is tweet out a zip code along with a PIN number that is provided by multiple users, and in exchange they get a shout out. Essentially what you want to do is change your zip code temporarily, and then you want to add that PIN number when you go to check in, and you click can't check in, you click tap here, enter the 4-digit PIN number. The instructions are actually on the FTL Codes Twitter if you want to check them out. Just please guys, please remember to change your zip code back. After you've done this, I've made the mistake of forgetting to change my zip code back to my own, and I've realized I won the shoe, but I have to drive 50 miles to get it. I'm not going to go too in-depth into the fundamentals, specifically because we've talked about these a ton of times before and I don't want to waste your time. But I do want to mention, for those of you who didn't see my last video on the reservations, when you see that your account hits the 800 to 5,000 zone regarding dollars spent, you're going to want to make a second account. Do not keep adding on to that account. And the reason is, if you go over 5,000, it's not exactly a bad thing, and no, that's not a set firm number. I'm just saying it doesn't really benefit you. It would be much better to let the funds go into a separate account, and you could build up both accounts now. A lot of people make the assumption that once you surpass the $300 mark, everyone with the 10-minute head start has an equivalent chance. However, this isn't really the case. There's sort of thresholds, and the major threshold is that $800 to $5,000 zone. So once you see you've gotten a significant amount of money in one account, say hypothetically $1,200 spent in there or $1,400 spent, you're going to want to make a second account, and when you do make the second account, do not sign up for the same store. So for example, on account 1, I'll sign up for Mall A that is near me, and then on account 2, I won't sign up at that mall, I'll sign up at the other one, so hypothetically if I do win both, I could pick up both shoes. I'll have plenty of time to do so. What you can also do is, if you want to sign up for both stores, what you could actually do with your name is, when you see you've gotten the reservations, before you enter the PIN number to confirm it, what you want to do is go to the Foot Locker website, sign into your account, change your name on the account to a buddy of yours, then you confirm it on your app, and it will show your buddy's name. Of course, this person has to be willing to pick it up for you, for perhaps maybe you pay for their lunch, or maybe you give them a $5 tip or something along the lines of that. But yeah, that's just a quick tip I wanted to share with you guys on how to completely maximize the Foot app reservation system. Also, a quick note, something that I've been mentioning for a very long time, the majority of you guys should know this: if you do happen to lose the reservations, I would recommend going for leftovers at the store. You could do this 2 ways, and I would suggest calling your local Foot Locker, Foot Action, and Champs to see which way they do it before you go, because you might get screwed if you go the wrong way. For example, some Foot Lockers, Foot Action, and Champs will make you line up all day. There's no tickets or anything. You have to wait outside the store, and it's kind of frustrating because sometimes they don't even let you line up against a wall, and it's completely unorganized. However, what most of them do is they let you come in the morning, and in the morning when they open up at around 9, sometimes 8 o'clock a.m. local time, they'll give you a ticket, and they'll tell you to come back when reservations are closed. For reservations closing on weekdays, it will be 6 p.m. local time. Reservations closing on weekends, it will be 3 p.m. local time. So hopefully that's simple enough to understand. One thing I want to note as well is, again, if you want to maximize everything, you could also go for leftovers even if you already won. Now, here's the thing with it. You can't go for leftovers if you already won at that specific store. So what I would want you guys to do is, hypothetically, if you won at one store, store A, you're going to want to go for leftovers at store B, not store A. I think it's pretty simple. I think you guys understand it. So with that, let's move away from the foot apps. I just wanted to explain to you guys how you could basically exploit this system to the fullest extent possible. Anyway, at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and we're starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Time because there's no 3 a.m. Eastern Time releases this time, specifically because the Europe releases already occurred on February 2nd, but now we got all the US retailers. So if you are in Europe and you missed out on the 2nd and you want to cop, you'll have to use a reshipper, and it might not be worth it with these shoes, although they are going to be profitable. Kind of kills the margin at that point. But anyway, you should expect foot sites to drop, specifically on the release calendars. We have Foot Action and Champs dropping on the websites. They usually don't load up until the day before, or even sometimes the morning of the drop. However, if Foot Locker is going to be getting them as well, I'll keep you guys updated, most likely via my Twitter. My Twitter is KeithAdam10. That's just for small updates. You can feel free to follow me. If not, just go back and check every now and then. I'm just trying to provide you guys some useful info. And the main thing when it comes to foot apps, it's really difficult to cart, and once you do cart, it's very difficult to actually check out. But if you spam it enough, eventually you'll get an email saying you got them. Sometimes you don't even get the confirmation page, but the email is all that matters. For all my manual users out there, I would definitely recommend using the apps in comparison to the website. Wait, moving on from that, the Finish Line raffle already closed a while ago. They've already selected winners. However, there should also be an online drop via a queue at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and since it is a queue, it will likely open up a little bit before 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and then stock will load at around 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And also, the same exact way, Kicks USA should be dropping these, although it's not exactly confirmed at the moment, but if they do, I'll keep you guys updated again. Regarding any raffles, I already posted the majority of them because the majority of them were for Europe. However, if there are any US raffles, I will be tweeting them out. My Twitter is KeithAdam10. I made a guide on how to make mass entries into these manually, and that's in the Bape Ultra Boost Head-to-Cop video, so I don't want to go over it again because I don't want to waste your time. But yeah, I would definitely recommend doing mass entries, specifically because they don't really get filtered. If you do want to use a raffle script, you could do that too. The majority of those do tend to get filtered out, but if you do it manually, there's a high likelihood that it's not going to get filtered out. Moving on to Nike sneakers, I think this is the biggest one for a lot of you guys. I just wanted to preface this by saying that the Proxy Omega thing has been working fantastic. I mean, on the draw, it worked for a significant amount of you, and I was really happy to see that it's finally paying off, especially on a limited sneaker on a draw for the Air Max 90s. I mean, it blew my mind. I was really satisfied to see that. But you have to keep in mind that since this is a let everyone order drop, a Leo drop, unlike the draw where you have 10 minutes in the US or 30 minutes in Europe, this is just 2 minutes. It's approximately a 2-minute time window to get in all of your accounts, so the Proxy Switch Omega isn't going to be necessary. And finally, the last thing, you should, of course, like always, expect the sneakers pass for New York City, Chicago, and now Atlanta too. But with all of that Head-to-Cop information out of the way, why don't we move on to some resale predictions. So, are these going to be profitable? Yes, of course they're going to be profitable. I know a lot of you guys might be skeptical of some of the smaller sizes since these are a women's shoe now, but trust me when I say with the retail being only $160, there's significant demand on these and the supply isn't insane. I made a comparison on my Twitter for the royal blue ones in comparison to these, and obviously with the royal blue ones, even in those higher sizes, they still were profitable. It wasn't incredible profit, but it was still good money. So don't expect a phenomenal margin when it comes to those smaller sizes. When it comes to these women Jordan 1s, you're actually going to want to stick to sizes 10.5 and up. But I know some of you guys like to play it conservative. You know, when you're going for those big sizes that tend to go for more money, you're unlikely to cop. It kind of ruins your chances because the majority of people are trying to make the most money possible. For that reason, a lot of you guys might want to go for the smaller sizes because even though it's less profit, you're more likely to at least get something out of it. I'm very curious to see if this kind of turns into a paradox where now it's actually going to be more difficult to cop the smaller sizes. But with that, I'll conclude today's video. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed or if you perhaps learned a thing or two. Also, subscribe and turn on post notifications to stay 100% updated on any hype shoe that's going to be releasing in the future, whether it's for personal wear or if you want to resell the shoe and make some quick profit. With that, have a great day. I'll see you guys later, and good luck on this release, of course.